chance on me. It was the admissions officer, Ashley Morgan, at Cardiff University in Wales, who first took a chance on an 18-year-old student who had just messed up her high school exams. For some odd reason, having worked hard for 10 years solid, I decided to take my foot off the pedal. I wrote a letter to Ashley, begging her to admit me into the School of Journalism, telling her I would study so hard she wouldn't regret it. I was admitted, and in the summer of 2004, I received my BA in journalism with the equivalent of summa cum laude. 3 years later, it was Susan Evans, a programme manager at a large international children's charity, Pan International, who took a chance on me, offering me a 4-week post in their London head office. You see, I had travelled the world, questioning the issues I saw communities facing, and wanted to help be the change, but I had no idea exactly how to do that with a journalism degree. The 4-week post was extended to 3 months, then 6, and after 4 promotions, I was leaving Plan as a senior executive in their corporate partnerships team, headed for UCLA. And then most recently, it was Nancy and Matt Jack and the Luskin team who took a chance on me, a Welsh student with, let's be honest, an average DRE score. I never thought that I would ever be accepted into graduate school, no idea if I would be good enough, or how I would pay for it. But it was my fiancé, now husband, just in front of me here, who encouraged me to go for it. Thank you to the school for taking that chance on me, my offer to enrol, and of course my scholarship, without which I would never have been able to accept, particularly as an international student. So that's the how, and now for the why. But in order to explain, I need to tell you a story. So I'm the granddaughter of a Gambian stowaway. Dark Grandad, as my sisters and I fondly called him, snuck onto a ship in the 1940s at 21 years of age, headed for Liverpool. He left to make a better life for his family back in the Gambia, working in a factory and sending money back home. He was officially the first traveller of the family, and I followed in his footsteps. Plan International took me to Sierra Leone, Malawi, India and Zambia for work, and within these 5 years I built up the confidence to do what I've always wanted to do, and that was return back to my ethnic home of the Gambia, and to really understand where I had come from, where my grandfather had grown up, and whether I had extended family there who knew about us in the UK. Armed with a photograph of my grandfather taken with a group of women and a copy of his birth certificate, I began my journey alone in December 2009. I received so much help there, and each individual is still very clear in my mind. The young boy in the records office who contacted his most senior manager to ask him to dig out of the archives my grandfather's original record of birth. When I saw his name written alongside his mother's signature, through tears I congratulated her for recording his birth, something that was very rare back then. I travelled to the street listed on my grandfather's birth certificate, and I knocked on compound doors, which had Njai painted on them, my Gambian family name. The first home knew nothing of the tale of a young man travelling to the UK, but the second invited me in. Their elder, who spoke no English, asked to see me. She smiled and pointed to one woman in the photograph. The others explained they knew her, although she was an elderly lady now, but still living on the street. They said they would show me to where she lived. As we were approaching her home, I saw an old lady bent over walking towards us. My chaperone explained to me that she was the lady in the photograph. My heart was pounding, and as we met her, my chaperone just said a few words in Wolof, which is my grandfather's tribal language. This little old lady looked up at me, grabbed my hand, and said, "Do-do, do-do," which was the nickname my grandfather used to sign the letters he wrote to me. We both began crying and held each other in the middle of that dusty street in the centre of Banjul. She led me into her one-room, tin home, and beside her bed she picked up a faded photograph and handed it to me. Looking back at me with those eyes I remember so vividly, my dark granddad, but as a young man. So this story leads me at last to why I'm here at UCLA Luskin, studying public policy with a concentration in international development and non-profit management. It was that journey to the Gambia that spurred me on to do more and challenge more, but I have always recognised my privilege. Everything I've been able to achieve so far has been made much easier because I was lucky enough to have been born in the UK. Just 2 generations ago, I would have been born in a compound in Banjul. So what do I want to do? Simplistically stated, I want to make a better life for those like my granddad, who was born and grew up in a one-room tin home in a Banjul compound, with poor educational and professional opportunities. He had to leave his loved ones behind, risk his life travelling to the UK on a ship so that he could better the life of his family. I want to make a better life for women like my great-grandmother, Annie and Jai, who died when my grandfather was very young because of limited health care, leaving my grandfather to be brought up by his great-grandmother. And I know that all that Luskin has given me so far, and is yet to come next year, will help position me to do just those things.